Some new info now on Obamacare. As the president's controversial proposal looked like it might become law, Republicans added language to force members of Congress and their staffers to live under the same Obamacare rules they were foisting on the American people, such as the state health exchanges that roll out in a few weeks. So if you, as a private citizen, have to obtain insurance through one of these exchanges, your employer is not allowed to subsidize or pay for that. Well, recently, our elected representatives took a look at what they had done, making themselves live by the same rules as the commoner, and they didn't like it. The Weekly Standard reports, quote, members of Congress and staff were looking at anywhere from a $5,000 to $11,000 net pay cut if they had to step in and pay for their own family's insurance. Well, many complained privately to President Obama about this onerous new requirement. So guess what happened? A federal agency, the Office of Personnel Management, stepped in, waved its magic wand, and ruled that the federal government will pay the premiums for members of Congress and their staffs. Our next guest says that's unfair, and he's a congressman. Phil Gingrey is a Georgia Republican, a medical doctor, and co-chair of the GOP Doctors Caucus. So these health exchanges, they're set up for people who don't have insurance through their employer, right?
That's right. Exactly, John.
And, so people who, like here at Fox, I have insurance through the Fox healthcare plan. If I didn't, I could go to one of these exchanges, but my employer is not supposed to pay for that.
Well, that's right. And you would not be eligible for a subsidy unless your income was somewhere between 100% and 400% of the federal poverty level. Otherwise, you pay the full freight. And what happened here, of course, is I don't think it was ever intended to put members of Congress and their staff in the exchanges, but that's what the law says, and that's what it does. And while we were on the so-called August recess break, the OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, decides that, okay, we'll give you still, members of Congress and your staff, this same subsidy, this 75%, 25% share, if you will. And yes, you're right, $5,000 to $7,000 or $8,000 benefit, and we'll let you continue to keep that, even though you don't meet those income requirements. You make too much money. So my bill says no special treatment for members of Congress Act, and make them pay the full freight. That's what the American people are doing, and that's what members of Congress should do.
Well, members of Congress like Nancy Pelosi went straight to the president and said, oh, this is going to be terrible. We're going to lose staffers if we have to pay for our own health insurance.
That's exactly right. The leadership. Now, I'm not going to characterize which leadership, but there's no question that the leadership went to the president, and then in turn the administration went to OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, and said, what can we do about this short of changing the law? And somehow by smoke and mirrors they come up with this special waiver. It just shows you what a bad bill this is. I mean, waiver after waiver after waiver. I just came off the House floor where we just passed a bill in the House that says you must verify if you're eligible for a subsidy. Because what they also did is that in granting that waiver for the employer not to have to abide by Obamacare for another year, that people could go into the exchange and just simply self-attest to the fact that, well, I'm at 150% of the federal poverty level, therefore I'm eligible for this subsidy, with no verification. This bill that we just passed on the House floor would eliminate that, would make them verify.
So there's one set of rules for members of Congress and another set of rules for the common folks.
That's right, and we, the Republicans in the House of Representatives, are going to stop that and challenge Harry Reid not to file 13, this bill.
All right. Phil Gingrey, Republican from Georgia, member of Congress. We will see where this goes. Keep us updated. Thank you.
Will do. Thanks a lot.